What's up, gangsters? How about 10 minutes of random? Okay, so here we go. This is what I've been spending a lot of time with the last couple of days. This is the exhaust system for my Tamiya 1/6 scale Honda Monkey. And it's been a lot of work, but I think it's finally paid off. This is pretty much the completed thing. You can see, in addition to adding the welds to it that I talked about before, I added those spring hooks because the springs that come with the kit, come on, focus up there. The springs that come with the kit are not for this exhaust, they're for the other optional exhaust. And I found out pretty quickly that super glue was not strong enough to just hold them to the surface of the pipe. So I had to drill some holes and put some bends in them, and basically they're embedded in there and will never come loose. So there's that. There's these little Top Studio rivets that go around the perimeter of the can. The Top Studio carbon fiber decals. Getting it polished out on this flat carbon fiber piece was a bitch because I kept burning through on the corners. But I got it done. I had to order some little washers so that I could get a washer underneath the head of that 1.4 millimeter bolt. I got the little, whatever you want to call it, the rubber liner for the clamp that I spent so much time and effort electroplating. I got that rubber liner painted, and now you can really see how uneven it is, but I don't think it detracts too much. It's just one of those things. Not much I can do about it. And then I finally got into the paint, and that was good fun. This is all MRP metallics. This is their exhaust metal blue fading into exhaust metal violet, and then bronze. That's all over the basic titanium, which for me is too light to look like real. I mean, it's an okay representation of one form of titanium, but titanium comes in a bunch of different shades, and I prefer the darker. So this is just mixtures of titanium with exhaust metal and bronze and other things to give it that look, and masked off to give each section of the pipe a slightly different tone. And I think that came out pretty good. I'm stoked. One thing I was hoping for is that I would be able to kind of do a wash on these welds. The welds on titanium like that come up real shiny, almost chromy looking. So I used some Testors chrome silver for that. And I let it dry for a couple of days, but when I came back and tried working with a wash on top of it, using just some Winsor & Newton Payne's Gray and mineral spirits, it of course screwed it up, and I had to repaint it. But it is what it is. I mean, there's just one of the limitations of enamels, and you know, I still think it looks pretty decent. Not quite exactly what I was hoping for, but I think it's a pretty good representation of the real deal, and I'm happy with it and ready to take a break from this project. I've been working on it quite a bit over the last 6 weeks or so, which is kind of a surprise because it's been a shelf of doom thing that I haven't really felt like working on that much for a long time, and for some reason I'm just into it right now. I've also been doing a bunch of CAD work in Fusion 360 to build all of the front end parts for it. The forks, the triple clamps, handlebar clamps, all that stuff that are going to be 3D printed. So that's going to be fun, and those are pretty close to ready. I've also been working on another motorcycle project. As I mentioned, I was going to start the Bruff Superior, which I've done and made some progress, not quite as fast as I'd hoped. You can see I'm getting metal parts prepped and painted. One thing that I've done for those is I bought a little miniature, I guess, airbrush type bead blaster, which has worked out pretty good. And I'm going to I've got a review video in the can, but you can see that it gets me a nice finish that's really just perfect for priming. I mean, that's what a metal part should look like when it's perfectly prepped for paint. So I'm stoked about that. The thing that really took a long time with these was working on the rims. They had a parting line running all the way around the inside between the spoke nipples and that was a bitch to get cleaned up and polished out. Then I had to drill all these holes. By the time I drilled them and chased them a couple of times, it was like 200 and whatever 72 times 3 is. 100, 220, 216, I don't know. Anyway, it was a bunch of damn holes. But it is what it is, and I'm stoked. Those would have been primed already, but something weird happened. I was getting ready to use my very lovely Gravity Paints 2K primer. 2K meaning that it is a urethane primer, just like a urethane clear. It requires a hardener to activate. But when I went to open the little bottle of hardener, it had completely gelled. Like, it is hard. It's a solid little cylinder of plastic or something in there. I don't know. This occasionally happens, and nobody can really explain why. I've got a can of U-POL hardener for my U-POL 2K Clear Urethane Gloss that is well over 2 years old, and it's fine. It's never done anything. There's kind of a thing going around that 2K hardeners only last for 6 months. I don't know where that came from. I don't see any evidence that that's true. But if this is the only sample of it I'd ever had, I would totally believe that. Anyway, I called Mate at Gravity. And it was really nice to talk to him in person. He's a super cool guy. He's trying really hard. Some of you guys know that he's had some issues with, keeping his business running smoothly and getting his orders out. And he's withdrawn from all social media so he can focus on just getting the work done. And I really believe he's got a good product, and I want to see him do well. He's a good dude, and I'm going to continue to support him, even though he is kind of in over his head right now. Now, here's something kind of fun that popped up, as it always does occasionally. The subject of molotow chrome ink. Some stuff on ISM about using it for bumpers and stuff. And I kept making the point, look, this stuff looks great at first, but it's just not durable. And then there's this guy who pops up who's got some videos, and I don't know, he's like from South Africa or something, and video was very condescending, saying, people just can't wait to put their hands on it, and they don't wait long enough for it to dry, and all you have to do is give it 2 days, and it's just fine, and you don't even need a clear coat. Well, you guys know I did a chrome test, Chrome Showdown, like 6 months ago. I can't remember the exact date, but it's been a long time. And when I did that, I let this stuff sit for a week. I tested the durability of it at like 48 hours, 72 hours, 1 week, 2 weeks, and it never did change. It was still crappy. Then, just a few, I guess maybe a month ago, not long after I got back from Panama, this subject came up again, and so I whipped this out. And one of these is the fingerprint that I made on it at that time. So this is now another 2 months on, and I just thought, well, you know what? Let's get the test sample out again and see what happens. And yep, sure enough, there I am, just easily gouging it off with my fingernail. No problem. And let's see, let me just rub on it some more with my thumb. Yep, rubs dull, just like it did back then. And yeah, maybe this is more abusive than you're ever actually going to be with something like this. But nonetheless, the point stands. If I can do this same thing to other finishes and it doesn't ruin them, then on an equal basis, this obviously is a substandard product in terms of how durable the finish is. And that's the thing. Look, you can't correct it by wiping the fingerprint off. You can see how much it changed it. Turned it basically into silver paint. So I know people are going to keep saying molotow is awesome. You just have to let it dry. Yeah, that's dumb. But not quite as dumb as this other thing that I heard. A guy who is supposedly a real authority on all kinds of model making stuff said one day on one of the forums or groups or whatever that the people at All-Clad told him that you were supposed to spray All-Clad chrome really wet because the particles are magnetic, and that's what's required for them to lay flat and give you a true reflective finish. So Yeah, I don't even need to test this, but I just thought this would be fun. This is a magnet, a pretty strong one. This is a bottle of all-clad chrome. And, yep, just like I thought, yeah, not magnetic at all. But you know, that's how this stuff gets started. Some guy who's supposedly an expert says something, and people are just way too ready to believe it, especially when it comes to metallics. Anyway, that's 10 minutes and 26 seconds. That's enough. Adios. Bye.